Welcome to Death Valley National Park, the largest national park in the lower 48. It's as big as Connecticut and larger than Delaware and Rhode Island combined. We were originally here to see the world-renowned super bloom. However, Mother Nature has decided otherwise, and we're gonna have to find a new unlikely hero for this narrative. And what we found, I think you're really gonna like, it's the Devil's Hole pupfish, a tiny little fish that caused a whole lot of controversy. So follow along as we explore this national park. My name's Taylor, and I'm a fake national park expert. Let me be your guide to the world of fabulous national parks. Death Valley National Park is located in Moseley, California, with a small portion in Nevada. The park is known for its expansive and diverse landscapes, from salt flats to colorful deserts to pine trees and winter snow to sand dunes and even tropical hot springs. The brutal landscape is formed by the death of an ancient lake system. Over 10,000 years ago, the climate was wetter and cooler, but as the Ice Age began to end, so did the good times. The lakes began to evaporate and isolate, creating the arid desert we know today. With such a vast area to explore, it's hard to fit all the attractions in a weekend. So slap on your driving gloves and let's hit the road. Here are my top 9 can't-miss places. Badwater Basin, the hottest place on planet Earth and the lowest point in North America. If you're into hot, flat, and salty, be sure to check it out. And we're here today to show you that you can even fry an egg in the middle of the valley. Amazing. Zabriskie Point. A colorful painted desert scene, an easy park and view spot, and a great starting point for a vibrant hike. Ubehebe Crater. In the deep north of the park is an oddball crater. It wasn't created by a meteorite, but by an even more frightening event. A giant boil of magma crept up into the groundwater, heating it and forming a giant steam bomb. The magma and steam exploded through the Earth's crust and created this disturbing scar. Bonus points for hiking around the rim. Mesquite Dunes. The most accessible dunes in Death Valley. Vast and tall, it's a great place for a sunrise, or to roll down the hills like an idiot. Salt Creek. A literal oasis in Badwater Basin and the last remnants of the ancient lakes. The spring-fed ecosystem is out of place and a unique location to explore. Tea Kettle Junction. Pretty much exactly what it sounds like. The Racetrack Playa. Bizarre sliding rocks create snail trails on this remote dry lake bed. Until recently, the way these rocks sailed around was an utter mystery. But in 2011, scientists began what was called, and I quote, the most boring experiment ever, end quote. They brought in similar rocks and outfitted them with GPS and waited for nothing to happen. 2 years later, the rocks began to creep and they were able to unravel the mystery. When the playa is covered in large ice sheets, the afternoon sun begins to melt the sheets, producing thin floating ice panels that are driven by the wind and shove the famous rocks around the racetrack. Lippincott Road. A 4x4 only road, but if you have a capable vehicle, it's pretty amazing to go from the valley floor to the mountainous pine trees. And finally, Devil's Hole. And Ash Meadows. Devil's Hole is technically part of Death Valley, while Ash Meadows is not. And in swims our hero, the Devil's Hole pupfish, the only fish to win a Supreme Court case. They are an endemic species, meaning it's only found in one place in the world. The pupfish is one of 26 other endemic species in Ash Meadows, which is the highest concentration of endemic biology in the United States. The controversy began in the 50s, when the location was protected as a national monument. But in 1962, a nearby rancher began pumping the aquifer to water his growing farm. This caused the water level to dip, and if you know anything about fish, that's bad. And this is the premise for a lawsuit that climbed all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. In Cappard versus the United States, the Supreme Court sided with the tiny pupfish. And lucky for them, the Cappards could no longer drink their milkshake. The pupfish, drink it up! It was a huge victory for science and environmental protection. But the strife and danger to these little fish is far from over. Luckily, they're one of the most publicized and well-funded conservation cases in U.S. history. As I sat back and waited for the curious fish to check out my camera, I had some time to ponder this incredible park. Its expansive and alien landscape are remarkable. From the natural phenomena, to the curious creatures, to the ridiculous extremes. Death Valley has it all, and it's certainly a fabulous national park.